Hello, my name is Michelle Schroeder, and this is a video on the shoulder girdle. The shoulder girdle is a very complex structure, and it rests on the very top of our body. So to look at in this video of what creates stability and what creates instability in the shoulder girdle. When we look at that, we need to look at the actual structure of the ball and socket. So the ball of the shoulder girdle is held in place by an articular capsule of ligaments, and this creates an integrity for the shoulder girdle. The socket is a pear-shaped, which means that the top of the shoulder socket is quite shallow and the bottom of the pear-shaped of the socket is a lot more deep. So when we're reaching our arms up, we want to feel that the shoulder, the ball of the shoulder, is drawing down into the base of the socket, which is deeper and provides more stability for the shoulder girdle. When looking at the shoulder, we want to inquire about the line of connection through the arm. So thinking of from the tips of the fingers, through the hand, through the wrist, through the elbow, through the shoulder, and then noticing the collarbone, okay, which maintains the widening across the shoulder girdle. And then also the scapula, which is the anchor of the movement for the shoulder. When we look at the energetics of the shoulder, we see that the arm passes through the heart, a connection to the throat, and then also the third energy center. So we have Manipura, our place of personal power, our heart chakra, Anahata, our place of love and grief, and then the throat chakra, Vishuddha, which is our place of self-expression and creativity. So if we notice this line of connection all through, and then through the arm to the other arm, we can feel this beautiful wing-like quality of tensile integrity to our body. This is really important when working with clients or ourselves and looking at different injuries of the shoulder girdle. One thing we have to look at is the shoulder blade able to properly move? So the shoulder blade should rise up, it should depress down, it should be able to draw in towards the spine in an adduction and move away from the spine in an abduction. And so when we're in this awareness, when we're just moving the arm, we need to be able to feel that we can move the shoulder blade up, elevate, depress, adduction, draw it in, and draw it away. And sometimes with injury or habitual patterns, our shoulder blade has become stuck. And behind the shoulder blade is a bed of fascial connection. And so the shoulder blade slides along this fascial bed. And if there's been an injury or an emotional holding or a postural connection that maybe is limiting the shoulder blade from properly moving, then we could get a feeling of tension through the shoulder. We could get a manifestation of an elbow injury, of a wrist injury. So sometimes it could be that the shoulder blade is not properly moving and is stuck. The other thing that we want to look at in the shoulder girdle is as well when we're moving the arm, that the shoulder blade is allowed to wing away from the spine when the arm comes up and gently come back towards the spine when the arm comes down. So this is really important, this scapulohumeral alignment or integrity. When we're loading, which means when we're putting pressure or we're picking something up with the hands, it's really important that we create integrity for the shoulder blade and the shoulder girdle. So in order to create integrity of the shoulder girdle, we need to use the muscles of the core to create this structure so that the shoulders can softly rest upon this inner core line. We also need to think of the muscles that are creating stability for the shoulder blade. So the middle and lower trapezius muscle, the rhomboids, and the serratus anterior muscle have a deep relationship in creating stability for the scapula. When we're loading the hands or we're picking something up or reaching the arms overhead to grab hold of something, there's an awareness that we want to keep the ball in relationship with the socket. And this is the most stable kind of awareness of creating integrity, that the ball of the shoulder is drawn down into the more deeper part of the socket. When we lift the arm up and maybe we're about to pick something up and load the shoulders, we want to notice if the shoulder blade, scapula, is maintaining a relationship on top of the rib cage. Sometimes when we lift the arms up, the shoulder blade wings away from the rib cage. And when that happens, there's a winging away, there's a collapsing of the chest, and the ball of the shoulder socket lifts out of the depth of the bottom part of the shoulder socket. So we want to be able to draw it down, keep the relationship of the shoulder blade and the rib cage connected. Feel this widening in between the shoulder blade, and also this integrity of not letting the bottom tip of the shoulder blade wing away from the spine when we're loading the shoulders, whether we're in plank, hands and knees, whether we're picking something up overhead or from the ground. So this is all really important for maintaining integrity and noticing that we're not hurting ourselves. The other component is sometimes we can have a hypermobility of the shoulder girdle or shoulder blade, and there is a lack of integrity, and there might be too much movement happening in the shoulder girdle. So to look at that of noticing what muscles need to strengthen to provide this integral structure for us when we load the shoulder girdle, meaning when we put weight on the shoulder girdle. In this workshop, we will focus on maintaining integrity in the shoulder girdle and finding the core, but then also noticing how we can move the shoulder blade and nourish that whole area of the shoulder blade and the fascia if there is tension or the fascia has created an adhesion around the shoulder blade. I thank you for joining me in this video.